As you may already know, my name's Clare Baker and I'm a former clutterholic and borderline hoarder. I successfully cleared all my own clutter in 11 rooms and areas of my home over 20 years ago without the need for an expensive home visit. And I've been helping people around the world do exactly the same ever since, so that they too can know what it's like to live a completely clutter-free life forever. As a result of my own experiences with clutter and having worked with clutterholics and hoarders for over 20 years, I know that there are many feelings that we face when we're clearing our clutter, which, if we don't understand them, will keep us trapped with our clutter. So today I want to talk about one of the feelings that we have to face when we're on our clutter clearing journey. That is the reality of our clutter. Step one of the 7-step clutter clearing journey is all about starting to understand why you have your clutter challenge. It involves gathering information about the reality of what is in terms of your clutter. And to be honest, if you're doing the exercises thoroughly and learning the theory, it will make you feel uncomfortable. In fact, some people actively try to avoid gathering the information and the facts by rushing through the exercises in step one, usually because they're still in denial and don't want to accept the reality of their clutter. In the past, most of us have focused on making decisions about the physical stuff in our clutter and getting rid of stuff, thereby managing to avoid the feelings that the stuff in our clutter triggers. Anything we come across that triggers a feeling, memory, or emotion that we aren't comfortable with is either ignored, moved so it's out of sight, out of mind, or put in the keep pile because that feels like a decision, even though we know that realistically we're unlikely to ever use it. All these responses helped us to avoid triggering that uncomfortable feeling, memory, or emotion. Yet clearing your clutter and the clutter clearing way doesn't allow you to ignore or just move your physical clutter. You can't just keep everything to avoid the feelings. We don't even start with the physical clutter. We start with the mental and emotional clutter in step one of the journey. We face the reality about what's going on with our clutter conveyor belt, which we may have been in denial about for years or decades, and that reality can be incredibly uncomfortable. In order to succeed on our journey, some of the reality that we have to accept in step one of our journey may include that we and we alone are responsible for our clutter. We are uncomfortable with the feelings and emotions triggered by our clutter. That we feel stupid, like a failure, angry, guilty, disappointed with ourselves, anxiety, depression, sadness, etc., because of the situation that we're in. We have to admit that we can't do this on our own, which often feels like a failure. We have habits that are really hard to break. We spend a lot of time, especially online, doing things that don't actually make a difference. We've spent a lot of money over the years on things that we didn't need and never used. We haven't been living our best life. Despite what we learn, we still have a fear of letting go. Our clutter isn't just a behavior or a result of our environment, it's become part of our identity. And finally, we struggle to imagine what our best life will be like when we're clutter-free. There are 7 things you can do to help yourself accept the reality of your clutter. First, notice when you're fighting acceptance of reality. If you are learning things on step one of your journey, or indeed on any step of your journey, that you are struggling to accept, just notice and acknowledge it. Instead of fighting it, get curious. Why do you think you're struggling to accept it? What feelings does it trigger? Second, name the feelings. Those of us who struggle with clutter often struggle to acknowledge and name our feelings. Find a way to acknowledge the feeling, even if you don't know how to express it. Many people struggle to articulate the number when they do their clutter control scale check-ins. So instead, they use the faces on the clutter control scale check-in to define the number for how in control they feel. It doesn't matter how you name the feeling. There's no right or wrong answer. How you feel is how you feel. Just name it so your conscious brain can learn from the experience. You can become more familiar and comfortable with them, and it's easier to notice and name your feelings in the future. Third, remind yourself that your newfound awareness of the reality gives you choices. The reality is not new. It's been the reality for as long as you've had your clutter. You just didn't know it. The difference now is that you're consciously aware of it, and that's triggering uncomfortable feelings and emotions. Fourth, accept and let go. You can't change the past. You can only influence the present and future. Unless you choose to ignore the reality and continue doing what you've always done, the only way is up from now on. When you accept the reality, you make better, more informed, realistic choices and decisions in the future. Fifth, fake it till you make it. If you're struggling to accept reality, pretend that you have already accepted reality. Who do you know who has accepted the reality of their clutter and gone on to successfully clear it? Hint, she's in this video. What happened as a result of that person accepting their reality? Did their world fall apart or the world stop turning? Or are they living their best life? Sixth, practice self-care. Do whatever you do to de-stress, relax, and practice self-care. A walk around the block, 30 minutes of quiet time in nature, 30 minutes of physical exercise, a massage, a manicure, some deep breathing, listening to relaxing music. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it relaxes you and helps you manage your stress and or your anxiety around processing the reality. Finally, seventh, affirmations. Say the following 7 daily affirmations as part of your morning routine to help you accept your reality. I let go of control and allow my life to flow. I'm open to receiving beautiful moments and memories into my life. I accept and embrace the past and what it has taught me. I embrace the power that I have right now. I humbly accept and let go of that which I cannot change and happily take on that which I can. I fully accept my reality. I relax, allow, and release. You can clear your clutter fast or you can clear your clutter forever, but you can't clear your clutter forever fast. If you want to learn how to make decisions and accept the reality, click on the link with this video now and start your 7-step journey to your clutter-free life.